Let's talk about toxic gratitude. You and I have had the idea of gratitude being a solution for being in a state we don't want to be in, shoved down our throats, and whether anybody has actually ever told you directly to just be grateful, or if you just absorbed it from our collective culture, you and your nervous system know that if you don't like something, you should probably just be grateful. So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to break the shell of this totally toxic belief system. And in the next video in this series, I'm going to teach you how to go from the moment where you feel like you should be doing the toxic gratitude to doing something else that is actually going to lead you to real gratitude. But for right now, we just need to get our angry, violated inner teenagers out for a second to talk about this, because let's be honest, this sucks and I'm over it and we're done. So, what is toxic gratitude versus what is authentic gratitude? Authentic gratitude is actually not something you can force. You can't make gratitude happen. It is an emotion that arises naturally and spontaneously out of your body. Now, you can create the conditions for gratitude to arrive in more easily. You can open yourself up to feeling gratitude. You can actually set the intention to try to do gratitude more. But what you can never do is actually make that emotion go forcefully. You can't force it. You can only allow it to arise. And when it does arise naturally, I'm not saying you can never experience true, authentic gratitude if you've ever been wounded. Of course you can, but you can't really do it reliably. So that's why we're here to heal this wound. And I'm sick of us all walking around and being expected to walk around totally wounded all the time. It's wrong. We're done. The point is, when you are actually able to allow gratitude to come up in your body and be an energy with which you experience life, nothing can replace it. It is so deep and beautiful and good. And there's a reason why we cry, and it's a reason why it rewires the way that we see our world. That's authentic gratitude. On the other hand, toxic gratitude, not my favorite, is forced. Toxic gratitude is performed. And toxic gratitude is not necessarily even something that you want to do. Instead, it's something that you are forcing yourself and you're coaxing yourself into doing in order to get out of a negative situation. So, why do we try to bring ourselves into gratitude? Well, if you have been wounded by the gratitude wound, here's what has definitely occurred. You have more than likely been in a situation that sucked. You were living in poverty, you were living in fear, you were living in stress, and you wanted out. Or you were in a situation where you didn't feel like you were advancing in life like you should be, and you wanted to move up. Or you had something bad happening with your personal life or your personal health, and you want that to change. In all these situations where we are just told you should just be grateful, we're trying to get from a bad place, a place where we authentically don't feel good, to a place where we're okay. And to be honest with you, I have never met a single person who was trying to manifest stuff from already being totally wonderful and great and just wanting things to get better. I have literally only ever known every one of us to be trying to get out of shitty ass negative situations. When we turn to spirit, when we turn to energy, when we turn to manifestation. So when you're already in a situation that sucks and you want to get out of, and you are told, just be grateful, no matter how well-intentioned the source, here's what occurs. You shut down. It's basically a slap in the face. It's basically telling you to shut down. It's saying you wanting to get out of this is wrong, and instead what you should be doing is be totally great with where you are right now. And the truth is, there's a little grain of truth in there from the perspective of someone who has already manifested the dream looking back. But you're not in that position, are you? When you're told to just shut up, sit down, swallow your tongue, and be happy with what you have in this moment. Let me be honest with you. That is not okay. Living in poverty, stress, fear, any situation that you want to get out of that's bad, that's actually bad, is bad. And you shouldn't be grateful for it. So we're breaking the first myth. which is that you should just be grateful. Actually, you shouldn't. And you're not doing the world or yourself any good by doing that. That is how the gratitude wound gets into us, because we already are in pain. Now, that pain could be anywhere from I slightly don't like the circumstances that I'm in and I'm complaining, all the way to I'm about to die and I don't want to die. Anywhere on that spectrum, guess what? It doesn't matter what the external world thinks of your reason for wanting to change, wanting things to be different. All that matters is what you feel inside, and our internal feelings or our internal trauma, our internal pain is not something that can be compared, and it's also not okay. You are not meant to live in pain. You are not meant to live in fear. You are not meant to live in terror. You are not meant to live in poverty. You are not meant to live in stress. And you are not meant to live deprived of the things that make the human experience great. All right? You want ice cream and you can't get ice cream? And you want to just be grateful that you don't have ice cream? Like, shut up. No. You want a husband and you don't have a husband. You just need to be grateful that you're at the phase of life where you don't have the husband. That's not what's going on here. You are living in poverty and you want to get out of poverty, and you just need to be grateful for all the little tidbits you might barely have in this completely terrifying state of stress. No. Okay? So, being in a bad situation is actually bad. There, I said it. That is the end. I just want to say that I'm not here, the point of all this work where we're breaking wounds is actually not, we're not trying to fight with the people who wounded us, and we're not trying to fight with the people who gave us the advice. And we're not even trying to fight with a past version of ourselves that adopted that mindset. Instead, what we're doing is we're breaking the collective belief. This is just a belief that runs through our culture, and you are going to be one of the people who is no longer transmitting that. Instead, you're going to have the healed version. And you actually have to have had the experience where you're living in the toxic version in order to be broken so that you can heal. So you can be grateful for that. Now, when you are in that state and you hear from a YouTube video or somebody tells you directly, or you remember your grandmother said this to your mother, or you just pick this up from the way that we are as people, when that idea comes floating in, I should just be grateful. Here's what happens. Pause. In that exact moment, here's what's happening. Your body is pushing up to you all the stuff that is bad, wounded, painful, stressful, and needs to change. And in that same moment, you are giving it the signal, this is good. Make good out of this. Accept this. Love this. Now, the advice to be grateful when things aren't good is fine. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this toxic moment, because it's not about the advice, and it's not about the intention of the advice. It's about what we as humans do when we're in a place we don't want to be in, and we get any little thing to grab onto as we try to use it. So you're in the bad situation, you get the advice, just use gratitude, and so what do? You start forcing. Right? That's just what happens. You force yourself to be grateful for what's right here in front of you. And guess what? You're probably not grateful because it's actually bad. So what is happening in this moment, which is what I want to just zoom in on, and it's going to be really validating for all of us, is that what you're doing is you're suppressing yourself, or the idea is suppressing you. And also, you are neglecting, suppressing, and circumventing your body's own wisdom. Here's the truth. Fight or flight response, it isn't this strange thing that's happening, this unmanageable state. Why is it here? I don't know. Let me take a pill. It is your body's natural mechanism that has kept organisms alive for 1 billion years. It is in there to get you out of a bad situation. When you are feeling those emotions, you're supposed to use them to get out of the situation. So you have the get the hell out of the situation emotions here. You have the situation that you don't like around you. You're trying to move forward, and what do you get? Just be grateful. So what are you going to do? You're going to open yourself up in this moment to how good things are. How good can things get in this moment right now? Well, the truth is, your mind isn't already tapped in to that. Your mind is tapped into survival, fleeing, and moving. And it's not going to just change like that, which is what the advice is trying to get you to do. The advice is trying to get you to be in a completely different state of mind that is really going to come when you're in a totally different state of being. And that's why it's toxic. It's not helpful in this moment. The panic that I want to get out right now. So let's stay in this panic right here, right now. And we get that you just need to be grateful. And so we have two options. One, we can just shut down wanting to get out at all because we've just been told to shut up. And the reason that we do that is that this is now just been shown to us it's an unsafe space for us to manifest in. This is an unsafe space for us to try and get out of poverty, fear, lack, whatever it is. By people telling us to just stop and shutting us down, it's showing us we're not safe to change here. We're not safe to be seen here. We're not safe to move out of this situation. We don't shut ourselves down for no reason. We shut ourselves down for protection. So it's actually so toxic because one of the two things that happens when you receive gratitude at the gratitude advice at the point you're trying to get out is shut down for safety, because that is culture telling you you're not safe to change, which sucks. And that's why we're going to heal this thing. But first we have to get the wound. So what's the other thing that could happen? The other thing that could happen at that moment is we open ourselves up and we start trying to manifest using gratitude. And so what's happening? Our mind is already open to the state of being in which we're panicked. We're looking for threats. We have a very narrow, focused view of attention. Our heart rate is up. We are clenching. You can look into the whole fight or flight reflex, but that's the biological mechanism that's trying to get you the hell out. And so in that moment, if you say, just be grateful, and you get your mind to open up to just being grateful, it's going to use the panic mind. It's going to say, it's going to start labeling. So let's unpack this for a second. What's going to happen is you're like, this is why I'm a cognitive scientist. I love this detailed stuff. And only by getting in there to the teeny level do we heal this stuff. Because it's just so simple once you get down there. But in this exact moment, sorry, it's so nitty gritty. I just love it. In this exact moment, your mind is saying, you've just commanded your mind, look for good things. And the only version of your mind you have available is the threat recognition system. So you're going to say, oh, there's a bookcase sitting in front of me and one of the books has gold foil. I like that gold foil. And if you have threat mindset on there, it's going to say gold foil, threat, labeled as threat, avoid gold foil. That is now subconsciously programmed in there. Now you look at the next good thing. Oh, there's a nice glass of cold water sitting here, and it's kind of hot. I am grateful for this nice glass of cold water, but guess what? My brain is on threat detection. So I look at glass of cold water, and I see threat. I see everything that is wrong with this glass. The ice has melted. It's probably not even going to be nice anymore. Oh, here we go with the negative mindset. That is where the negative mindset comes from. It is from being in the stress state and telling your stressed mind to look for things, and your stressed mind looks for those things and it turns them bad because that's its job. It's in threat detection mode. Okay? So I think you're getting this. The problem, the real reason this is toxic is that when we take the idea that we need to just be grateful and we start applying that when we're getting out of a bad situation, is our mind starts manifesting everything being worse because it's seeing everything as a threat. And it's also manifesting that all the things we're trying to get to, all the things we're identifying to be grateful for, like, oh, this is good, well, I actually have clothes and this is already good, is it sees that as a bad thing. On an energetic level, what happens is you now have this wound and it's like a hole in your system. And instead of being complete and using your own natural state of gratitude to look at the world and enjoy that positive feeling and move from there, instead what's happening is you have this hole in yourself, which is radiating fear and terror and get me out of here energy. And you are pouring your positive conscious energy through that. And it's a mixed signal. And what ends up winning is probably not gratitude. What's going to end up winning is your body's state. It's the state of your nervous system. It's the state of your mind. It's you being in panic. It's you being in stress. And that's the reason why, no matter how well-intentioned this advice is to just be grateful, or ill-intentioned, right? People can wound us with that to tell us to shut up, basically. But even if it's coming from a good place, giving that information when you need to get out of a bad situation is always harmful. And it's also kind of abandoning us. And what it does, if you start doing this for yourself, is it makes you start basically pouring so much more energy through the version of your reality that you're trying to get out of. And that's why it's toxic. And that's why we need to heal it. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the next video in this series. So I know that was kind of sad. It was kind of a downer. But the next video in the series, first of all, I know it was kind of a downer, but it is so good to just acknowledge what has happened to us. What has happened to generations before us, when the truth is the generations before us really didn't have better to go towards, and they did have to just force themselves to be grateful. But what did the collective, all thinking like that, do? It manifested this world of constant stress and fear and terror culture. And we're ready to be done with that. Another thing that's great about looking about the world and seeing the gratitude wound is just look how many people have watched this video. Look how many comments there are. Look how not alone you are. You're not alone. And I'm here with you, so you're super not alone. Because I've been down this portal with you and out the other side. And 3, it is so good to look at these things because you get to see how your mind actually works. And without the essential knowledge of how your mind actually works, you're not going to manifest shit in this world. Because the truth is the only thing you can ever do in this world is through your body. And if you want to use your ideas to do something with your body, you have to use your mind. So if your mind is broken, you're going to keep doing broken stuff. And here is where we get into that exact moment, the exact moment where you want things to get better. Because there's a version of you that is always going to want to improve, always going to evolve, always going to want to grow. And that's the version we're tapping into. So join me for the next video in this series where I'm going to take you through the eye of the needle of this exact moment. When you feel like you should just do gratitude, here's what you should do instead to actually get you into the state that you want to be in. Health, wealth, wholeness, out of the fear, out of the ill health, and back into the state of being that you are trying to get into. That is where you actually belong. So thank you so much for joining me for this little dive into the psyche. Once again, my name is Dr. Arian Wine. I'm a cognitive scientist, and I teach you how to see into your subconscious to heal and change your core beliefs, which are your deepest beliefs about yourself and your reality. All right? So come join me for the next video in the series, and let us heal this gratitude wound together. I love you, I believe in you, and I'll see you there.